Chapter 5. The grass was spongy with dew, and the air was cool and sweet, filling his lungs until they pressed against his ribs, and a stitch ran up and down his side. And then he was crunching over gravel. The sky was blood red. It was going to be another warm day, but not yet. He couldn't help smiling. He'd sing if he had the breath. He was all alone in the park. The birds were chattering in the overhanging trees, sitting on their stoops, telling all the bird gossip. Smooth and easy, Alfred. Build up the wind and the legs. Smooth and easy. Pick up those feet. The breeze streamed past his cheeks, cooling, and the muscles of his legs stretched and got warm, and his elbows swung along his sides, and the silly smile grew wider, and he thought he'd burst from the joy of... "Hold it right there!" Two policemen stepped out from behind a bush, and the birds stopped their chatter. "Where you going this time of morning?" "I'm running." "I can see that," said the smaller cop. "Where you running to?" "Just running, officer. I'm in training." "For what?" asked the bigger cop. "Boxing," said Alfred. The two policemen looked at each other, and the little one winked. "Oh, yeah, I know you. Fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world next week, right?" Alfred shook his head. His mouth suddenly felt dry and gritty, and his tongue thick. "Just starting." "Who's your manager?" "Mr. Donatelli." The big cop nodded. "I heard of him. Had 3 champions, 2 at the same time, I think. What's your name, boy?" "Alfred Brooks." "Okay, Al, you keep training. We'll look for your picture in the papers." They laughed and disappeared back into the bushes. The spring was out of his step, and suddenly the stitch seemed unbearable, and he could hear cars moving through the park. Gas fumes. That's enough for today, he thought, knowing it wasn't, and he slowed down again and started trudging back to the apartment. The good feeling was gone. His sneakers felt heavy as if they were filled with water. Aunt Pearl was bustling around the kitchen, getting the girls ready for school when he came in. "Alfred, where you been? You just getting in now? You been out all night?" "Took a walk." "A walk?" Sandra saved him, screaming that Paula had hidden her hair ribbons. Aunt Pearl got busy quieting them down, feeding them breakfast, helping Charlene make the lunch sandwiches. When the girls finally left for school, Aunt Pearl turned back to Alfred, her eyebrows raised. "Now, where you been?" "Just went out. Couldn't sleep." Where you been? You need the alarm clock." "Took a walk." "You said that already, Alfred. You look at me now. Are you in trouble?" "No." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Somebody after you or something?" "No." "I ain't gonna press you, Alfred. You do a man's work, and I ain't gonna treat you like a boy. But I know something's wrong. We eat all right, don't we?" "Yes." "We ain't on welfare. The rent's paid up. We got nice Sunday clothes. We doing all right. Did your Uncle Wilson get you all upset?" "Uncle Wilson?" "I heard him bragging about Jeff. You do all right, too. You got a job. You..." "Big job." "Alfred, you be glad you're working. Streets are full of men hanging around, waiting for trouble." "I'm going to be somebody," he said, feeling his throat tighten up again. She surrounded him with her soft arms. "You somebody right now, Alfred. A good, God-fearing boy. Mine's his aunt. Helps." "Somebody special," he said, pulling away. She dropped her arms and took a step back, peering up into his face. "How do you mean, Alfred?" He shrugged. "Some way." "Alfred," she whispered, "you wasn't really fixing to go with James that night." "Alfred!" She was still calling his name as he ran out the door.